Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the canyon. Welcome back to that hand tries to pick her nose all the time. Welcome back to the canyon. Welcome back to another quick view. This is a quick view that is explicable only in the future. For today, it's just a quick view. You've all seen the thumbnail. It is the Scorpio. Not just the Scorpio, the 2.2 LP Scorpio. It's green. All JConcepts crawler tires are green. We've used the 1.9 Scorpio, and we have never had good luck with it. It has been one of the least whelming JConcepts tires. But in recent days, in recent memory, the 2.2 LP Tusk, amazing. The 2.2 LP Rupture, outstanding. Can lightning strike thrice? Can we have a similar level of performance increase? Because the Tusk and the Rupture are already good. They're good in every size. And for the most part, they pretty much got better in the LP. So we're starting with the tire that, I love the look of this tire. I want this tire to do the things because, again, explicable only in the future. I have a recipient for these tires, should they fit. And I would classify it as a bit of a sacrifice for vanity because, last checked, I want to say that all the 2.2 LPs are the same price. So you've got Tusks and Ruptures already way up at the top of the leaderboard. Some combinations of tread and carcass just don't quite match up to the compound. Now, we will hope for the very best, and we hope for only a couple of points of differential. These are not super easy to mount on the single stage. You have to, let me go back a bit. You got to get the ring in and get the ring pushed all the way to one side and make sure that you don't have any foam pinched under the bead. Try to keep it centered. If it's not centered, you will know because the little double edge will start squidging away from the wheel. So on the style of 2.2s that are a thin face and a big back, sometimes it's easier to put the back in first. But these kind of split it down the middle. So what we want to do is we want to see a nice, even gap. Then we're going to hold it, and you'll see, because it's that big single stage JConcepts medium foam, we're just going to walk around, and then same thing, get it even. If it's squidged off to one side, that usually means that there's some foam creeping over the lip of the beadlock ring. Because these beadlock rings are big, but now we've got to squeeze it. And the squeeze is not insignificant. So there is still every opportunity to pop a front bead out. So I just want to get thread to catch. I don't want to go all the way down. It is so much easier. Like if you have your 2.2 LP in one hand and you've got squid inserts or some other insert in the other hand, these are going to go on so easily, they will fall together. It's that big single stage. It looks all right. I don't see any big pops. Green is pretty sticky to start with. I just remembered we need to measure these on the tyrometer. Though I don't think, yeah, Scorpios can be whatever size they want to be. They have nothing to live up to because JConcepts just says 2.2 LP. There's nothing on the sidewall that gives us a measure. As said, it's a tire that I want this look. I basically want this look for something. So here's the fingers crossed. It will be a sacrifice for vanity. Yes, I understand, because I could just put a rupture on there. And it's a real sacrifice for vanity, because the rupture is, let's be fair and frank, not as good looking as this tire. The Scorpio, to me, is one of the best looking JConcepts tires. It just hasn't really lived up. 133. So that is 5 3/16, just under 5 1/4. So they're a little shorter. They have a very low lug height. That's a 2 to 3 millimeter lug height. A nice, substantial side lug, fully non-directional. See, it's like an S. It's like an S. It doesn't matter which way you mount them, which is nice. 48. That's proper. So that is. Ooh, but a 2.2 Tusks on a Crawler Innovations, what are they, Little Novas? 525 comp cuts is all the way down to like 46. So for a single stage, that's not bad. Will that single stage foam hold up the sidewall? Well, we certainly have hopes that it will, because the single stage does an absolute treat on the rupture. Our usual boy. We don't have to pay attention. There's no directionality. We just slap 4 tires on. I was having the worst time with the hexes that were fitted to this vehicle, which were, racing. Was not having a good time having the wheel mount to the hex. So I replaced them with Trio? Trio sounds right to me. These are maybe tighter than the other ones. So what you then have to do is you got to get them started Ugga style. And then we will go back and hand check them so that they do not come loose. This guy likes to loosen up his wheels. I don't know if that's just the amount of forward drive or whatever. Something about this wheel combo. Oh, no, that's good. That one's good. That one's good. All right, no worries. No worries. We would have been absolutely good. You know what I needed to dig? I needed to dig into my bike stuff and get my torque wrench out. I can actually click. I have a tiny little torque wrench about that big. So, I mean, do you see where I'm coming from here? Those look pretty good. He also looks super wide, and these are not a super wide set. But he is incredibly wide. 295. Look at this square. Will he stay up? Almost. Wait, yeah, there we go. 295 on the width. Yes. So, I'll show you. So typically, what you'll see in a 2.2 LP, we can bust them all out. We've got the 2.2 LP trio here. So this is a 10 deep, and we're rocking like a 9mm hub on it. Yeah, that's a 9 hub. This is a 10 deep, what they call minus 10.4s. Again, 9mm hub. Had not paid attention, I guess, closely enough. I think these need to be rebuilt, because these are a minus 10.4 to 10 deep, but they have like, looks like an 11. These are really wide. We should be tucking a little bit of that inside the wheel, just a little bit. Anyway, it's not going to matter. I mean, if anything, side hilling is going to be a little easy. We're gonna look at the grip and slip on the side hill. The notes. I am cautiously optimistic, as per usual. I am hopeful because, like I say, a lot of times tire comes in, we do the test, we bought them either on a lark, we bought them out of curiosity, we don't have something to specifically fit them. That's why right up out of frame, up out of camera is, I don't know, There's 3 per 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's about 30 sets of tires up there. Between 30 and 32 sets of tires, because sometimes we just don't have the things for those tires. Tires get replaced. Tires, we find a better option. We haven't built a rig yet. You want more LP Tusk? We haven't built the rig to hold them yet. 1.9 megalithic. We're constantly testing. We're constantly evolving. So what do? We buy more tires. And we buy these because I want to see if the LP is somehow, because of that sidewall ratio, is somehow magic. All right, Scorpio, don't let me down. They were looking like wacky wall walkers on the drive back, like, because we're not fendered and we're way out 290 millimeters wide, just throwing stuff into the air. Almost a foot wide. Okay, all right, hold on. So we're gonna fall into this same sort of problem. It kills me physically and mentally. It kills me. That's a Scorpio. As soon as we hit the lip, I was like, yeah, that's a Scorpio. We gotta give it a minute. We gotta give the foam and the tire time to get together, come to an agreement. Yeah, we should have an absurd amount of stability. Look around, we'll try to pull up here. I want to see the shuttle on it. Okay, shuttle around, come in between those two. Oh. Give me an auto climber here. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay. There's a throttle input thing. This is probably what was the downfall of the Scorpio in 1.9. At least for me and at least here. Which is, it wants a bit more throttle input. How sideways can we get this before anything happens? Yeah. We're just going to stay in it. We're going to see what happens. Just that little bit of a slide. As weird as it might sound to say, I think that for rock crawling, for what we're trying to do right now, the lug size and or spacing and or orientation, some physical component of that lug is not the guy. It's not quite the guy. So we are not going to get that optimized forward drive. There's more forward drive out of a Tusk. There's more forward drive out of a Rupture. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to look at it in terms of versatility. Yeah, see right there? Either of the aforementioned gentlemen will manage to push that to the side. Although 290 wide, okay, all right, okay. Okay, the foam and the tire might still be getting to know each other. Didn't think it was possible to belly that up there. The foams, now there is like a tiny little bit, see, we're getting to know each other. There is a tiny little bit of crisscross, like a grid pattern of rib inside, but it's like a 1 millimeter tall rib. So it's not a sidewall stiffener. It's not like a longitudinal, like a circumferential. It's not a rib that runs all the way around the tire. It's just like a grid and very largely spaced, like probably like a 20 millimeter grid. So I don't think that that's contributing to the stiffness of the tire. What I do notice is they do have a lot of directionality to them. If you point them in a direction, they will go that direction. They just seem to, at the limit, not pull as hard as their brethren, their stablemates. So that just leads me to, it's, okay, yeah, excellent. A little hesitation there, but yeah, okay, there you go. For a second there, I thought we were deep into prove me wrong territory, and then we get to right about there, in between the wheelbase. A lot of maneuverability, but that maneuverability is better when the throttle input is higher. They're a little, is it squidgy? Yeah, they want about 15-20% more throttle input than a Tusker or Rupture. Or even a Canyon Trail. If we're just looking at tires that are about 5 1/4, they honestly, they feel like they run shorter than they are. To me, this feels a lot more like a Class 2 than it does a Class 3. That's solid right through there. But then we get to right here, we get in that between that wheelbase, and we've got to wait for the compound to catch up, for the compound to take us through. Yeah, they're really quite highly maneuverable, and I still love the way they look. And it's not like they're failing. It's just the memories are too fresh of 2.2 Tusk LP and 2.2 Rupture LP. I want every tire to grab like it has claws. Better. I could anticipate, I could have predicted that tiny little bit of shudder at the top. But that was a straight pull. And if the shudder doesn't shoot us offline, I effectively treat it like it doesn't matter. There's a lot of steer. So if anything, it might be that we don't have that foam tire relationship with the Scorpio like we had with the Rupture, which was perfect. These are acting firmer, even though it's the same foam. Or is it? Bum, bum, bum. What I'm saying is the 2.2 Rupture LP does not need a foam change unless you're planning on wet weather or you really want to go for that extreme. Or maybe your rig is significantly heavier. With these, I think we could do better with a different foam. And I do happen to have a set of Crawler Innovations 525s. So that's a possibility. I'm still waiting for Injora 2.2 silicones to become more readily available. No, certainly the best they've done out here at Daphne. Certainly the best. That was really good. Let me get another hit right across here. A little wider. Yeah. Whenever you get to that spot, you'll learn the ins and outs of the tire. You'll learn its proclivities and its weird behaviors. Like, I know when it gets both rear tires out on those two slicky rocks right about here, and we were getting that slip, you can get through that slip with a little more throttle application. Also, there's a lot of lug. So you get feather on all of those lugs, they're gonna get better. I don't like using that as a defense for a tire because if a tire is good out of the package, when it feathers in, it's gonna get better. If a tire is mediocre out of the package and people are like, oh, it needs like X number of hours to run it in, well, then they should have just made the tire better to begin with. So I don't like using, oh, it needs break-in as an excuse. That said, these are doing better than average and will get better on break-in. But the Tusk and the Rupture are things that exist. Luckily for the Scorpio this far in, we're not seeing those little hesitations to the degree that would automatically, you know, they haven't failed, but they've kind of failed. 290 is too wide. I'll tell you that right now. This is a wheel for a narrower axle. I still love the look of the tire. Okay, coming down. I should have done a cruise controlled descent. I mean, that's a good descending foam. I don't know how. So we try to do a descent right here, and it's too wide. I couldn't get into a line. The funnel is right towards the board. I couldn't get into a line. Now we got to try to go back up it, and I don't know if this has it, because we're so wide that at one point we're going to have to try to pull this vertical right here, if we can even get up to the vertical. Okay, man, we got front tire over. That's something. Now we got to try to stay out of the fence. Oh, there is a window of ascending right there that is, yeah, come on. Oh, wider is better, right up until it isn't. Yeah, honestly, I think I could make it. Oh. We're just asking for a lot. We're asking a real lot. We're gonna give him a little bit. We're gonna give him a little bit of help. He's so wide on those wheels that there's not even really room to set him down. At the pull here, into the fence. Nah, he's too wide for that. And so we're looking at like breech on. Yeah, it's just, it's very nearly to the point where the amount of forward drive doesn't feel like green. There's the spot. There's the spot. Keep that front end down. There's the spot. Let's try to get some of that side lug involved up there. Push that front end back down. Nope. They don't feel like green. And the Scorpio starts off a couple steps down because it is impossible to evaluate them on their own, standalone. It's not, that's not possible. The 2.2 Rupture and the 2.2 Tusk exist, and they are very good. The 2.2 Rupture is the best 2.2 LP we've ever tested. The 2.2 Tusk is definitely up there. Now we should have no problem through here. Like we have so much width. Is that extra 10-ish millimeters of width hurting us? Well, it was on fence side at Tumbledore, but it's certainly not here. So points lost in one location or points gained in the other, I don't even feel it getting light at all. At all. We are stuck down. Coming across. So what I'm trying to do, yeah, that's steering. For how wide we are, for almost a foot wide, that turn in is good. Not all is lost. Not all is lost. Okay, we're gonna do. Just have to make sure. Okay, there we are. We're right there. We've been no-hander. Letting it go real deep. Yeah. Yeah. The width. It's the width. The foam. If you're in the, he's like mid-6, but unsprung is not a lot of weight. Foams don't care. They see it all. If you're in the mid-6, the foam might be a little stiff. So if you're like 7.5, I would think another pound on these, we would get a little bit more responsiveness, a little bit more forward drive, and we would exchange that for just an amount, like ordinarily a turn down on a steep like this, how far can we go? We can go all the way. It's not gonna roll out. Can I get low enough? Can I get low enough at the transfer to even roll this out? Get all the way down, and we want to get that rear end and just hyper load it right there. No, they're absolutely stuck to the ground. So that foam, a little bit too stiff sometimes, but not like gross. Not gross. It's not RC four-wheel drive sofa cushions in there. This is where I want to see the strength. I want to see the strength of the Scorpio running here. Getting through that gate is going to be an absolute trick. Yeah, right there, really good. Still some hesitations. Again, very small lug. Coming around. That side lug is very manipulable. I was trying to see if we had enough to get tight through here. Let's see. Yeah, that's not easy. That's not easy, and width doesn't explicitly help right through that chopped section right there. They do drive and feel, and I don't, you take this as you will. I don't know if this is praise or condemnation. They really drive like a 1.9. They feel like a 1.9. Now I am on Capra portals, so we've got clearance, and they are pretty crispy because of that foam. I'm gonna have to line myself up just so. Yeah, absolutely nothing. We have the tiniest little bit of deflection, driver front, and we should be seeing there should be some squidge there. Okay, now this gate is only about 40 millimeters wider than our track. Okay, did we get the one side up too far? Yeah, like right there. Again, driver front loaded. Yeah, there's a maneuverability there, though. That's the best this is done. There's little slippy bits, but I mean, the side hill, very wide, firmer foam. It's going to do great. But performance-wise, in doing that which it was asked, that was the best one by a margin. And this Hans Bubby, I'm your White Knight, does not lend to this lug size or shape, I don't think. Although that looked absolutely pasted. Okay, just need to stay. We need to stay as tight to high side as we can. We need to not do that. There's a real slow action to that. A properly slow action. So we've got the drive through here. The drive feels like it's consistently improving. As we go, the drive is getting better and better and better. It's that low driver's side. I can see the slide already initiated. But we can hold. Again, if the foam is softer, do we make it? I don't know. Would we on a foam that's more air quotes optimized? Maybe. But I don't think that explicitly matters at the end of the conversation, because a determined factor in the process for purchase of the LP Scorpio is some amount of a sacrifice for vanity. You like the way they look, which I did and I do. So how much absolute performance are you willing to sacrifice for how the tire looks? How does it strike your fancy? Look how wide. So wide. Okay, I couldn't even get soft side because he was so wide. Right there. Oh, really good like that. You get that extra load, that bind on that rear tire, and that tire really responded to that. Yeah. Strong. So the Scorpio kind of shows itself not to be like an explicit all-rounder, even though it looks like the most all-rounder. I think they would do horribly in mud. Horribly. Like these would just turn into big, Krispy Kreme glazed donuts. Look at that pull though. Little bit of attitude on it, even at the low throttle. Want to see. There it is. There's a lot of energy return. It's a little shooty. It's a little shooty. Yeah. Gets a little bit out of shape at the ends. Again, no chevron. But I think that in this situation, it does kind of have it's a double tapper. You kind of give it a little. It's not horribly out of shape. Again, if we're not comparing it against the two that we've been continually comparing it against all morning, that was there. That was, yeah, there. Yeah. If we're looking at it purely on its own merits, this is a decent score already. Before we get to wet, and it's green. So honestly, I'm as anxious to see the wet score as anything, because when these are cleaned off and the rock is cleaned off, what are those little lugs gonna do? Now, I didn't know this as a youth. I found this out much later in life. Ants love water. So out here we have sometimes you can hear the babble of the brook beside us. We've got our own little oasis, our man-built oasis over here, which means that we have an incredible amount of ants out here who generally have set their nests up under the pond in some way. So when the pond overflows, when I fill it, there's ants by the cajillion. If you set any sort of water implement down, like a hose, nozzle, the little sprayer that I use to perform this function right now, this nozzle right now has ants pouring out of it. Because as it sat overnight with water in it, it just filled up with ants. We also have Texas red harvesters, and we have good old Argentines, black ants, sugar ants. In huge numbers both, and they battle. I was hoping for like a VXT2 situation where these are just gonna pull like a train as soon as the surface got wet. Ooh, and they very nearly did. Okay, we haven't tried the side shuttle, so we'll do it wet. Rear end's gonna drop, and then we need that front to grab. Yeah. It's green. It's green. You know, I wouldn't consider traction to have improved immensely, though. I don't know. Hold on. Wait a minute. They want that little bit more speed. I'm trying to hit them with the boop. I'm trying to hit them with this. And we get that little shudder. Oh, wait. And then you give it just a little pinch. Just pinch the trigger. And away it goes. So, I don't know. Perhaps, maybe, just maybe, my evaluation is off kilter. Because I think possibly out there is the idea that these are more versatile than, say, a Tusker or Rupture, but the versatility is skewed away from pure rock crawling. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, this is a more GP tire. Because, I mean, if you look at that lug and you squint, It's kind of, we got a little LT radial. It's a little off-road blocky, but they're real tightly packed. It's not going to do well in mud, but it's going to do pretty darn good in wet. And it showed some real promise. It only showed enough promise to end on a 94.3, which is not an outstanding score, seeing as, if memory serves, the 2.2 LP Rupture is a 99, and a 2.2 LP Tusk is either a 97 or a 97.5, around there. So a 94.3 is going to be down the boards a ways, but it doesn't automatically make you go, oh, well, that tire's an abject failure. And we're definitely into the territory of you could get it better. It's going to wear in. It's going to get a little better, get up to like an upper 94. If you change out the insert, you narrow the width down, you do a whole bunch of things. I can see this like maybe 95.5 is where I could see this guy topping out at. So he's still 2 points away from a Tusk and almost 4 points away from a Rupture. But, you know, I understand people don't like the look of Ruptures. Maybe you already have too many Tusks. Maybe you want to try something different. On just the pure animal raw capability, the Scorpio unfortunately is the worst of the 2.2 guys that we've tried, because it added too much scoring variance, half a point. Like, it pulled a couple 9.7s, but it also pulled a couple 9.2s. Tumbledore and Hans Bubi both hurt it. If these were scored as a 1.9 and we just took them out on the regular protocol, let me think. So instead of the staircase, we take the Beast. I would give it 2/10 there. Instead of Mount Tumbledore, we would tell self-riding, which we can't because we don't have a body. We would do the teardrop for surface transition instead of Hans. I can see this at like a 94.7, 94.8. Still not quite. Meh. We could maybe round it up to a 95, but it's very noisy. I feel that would be generous. The Scorpio still stands out as the JConcepts tire that we've tested pretty much all of them, except Fling Kings. I think Fling Kings are the only green compound tire we haven't tested, and those are not rock crawling tires. So these still, Holds did better, Hunks did better. These are still down there for whatever reason, but they are certainly good enough for me to apply them to the application for which I have them mentally allocated. 94.3, potentially adjusted to, like, they're going to go on a rig that's heavier. You'll see that later if you see it. So not a failure, not middling, mediocre, just brought down. I feel like the Scorpio or the JConcepts middle child, right? We've got the older brother, the Rupture, and then we've got the younger brother that can do no wrong, the Tusk, and we've got the Scorpio stuck out there being like, bro, I got a 94.3. Like, this is bad now? Only by comparison, you know. Hey, still ain't G8, so that's something. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We hope for the best, or at least the better. And we got good. We got good. And maybe the bars are being elevated too high when we're like, good is, eh. So we'll see. We'll see whatever comes up next. I thank you for watching this one. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. In between now and then, please one and all do your very best to have a good one, everybody. We will see you again here from the canyon with whatever that might be. We're starting to run out of 2.2s. We're whittling through the pile. There's still a couple, though. So tune in for that or whatever.